Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, make sure to leave a like on the video. It helps the channel out a lot. Hit that like button and also make sure to subscribe to the channel to get more Dallas Cowboys content and hit the notification bell to get notified when I go live or post new content. With that being said, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, that being the Cowboys double dipping at cornerback, picking Trevon Diggs in the second round and Reggie Robinson the second in the fourth round. And now, for me, I think that when we look at these two picks specifically, I think the Cowboys did a really, really good job at the value in which they got these players and what they bring to the table. Let's first start off with Trevon Diggs. Now, Trevon Diggs, I really do like at corner. I think that the Cowboys got a steal in the second round, mainly due to the fact that a lot of people thought he was, a mid to late first rounder in terms of the talent. And for a guy like that to drop to you in the second round, I mean, you can't pass that up, let's be honest. And so, for me, I think when I look at Trevon Diggs, he reminds me a lot of how Aqib Talib plays, having that same play style, playmaking ability. It just reminds me of Aqib Talib, and I think that he has the ability to become that, and I think that's what exactly the Cowboys need. They need a dynamic cornerback that can generate turn. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think that, hey, look, you see what Jordan Lewis has been able to do. He's been able to generate plays and, help with the defense and getting some production there, but you're going to need more. You can't rely on one guy on defense to get a bulk of your turnovers. So you need to get more players that are ball hawks and can get, the ball back to the offense. And so when you look at what Trevon Diggs brings to the table, I think it will ultimately help the Cowboys out in generating more turnovers and thus putting more points on the board and winning more games. Now, Reggie Robinson the second, I think you get this guy to be your backup cornerback, part of that rotation, but also there have been people that mentioned that he can also be a special teams kind of guy, which that's good. You want to get as much talent as possible and see where it can go. And I think, look, the Cowboys they stuck to their board and they get the guys they want at their respective value that they had. And so I want to move and switch gears to talking about basically the future of what we're looking at the cornerback position. So currently, with assuming that the contracts are relatively the same, which they will be, Trevon Diggs and Reggie Robinson will be under contract for 4 years. Now, Chidobe Awuzie and Jordan Lewis still have one more year left on their deals, and no, they don't have a fifth-year option because they were not picked in the first round. So the Cowboys are going to have to make a decision there. Now, they did re-sign Anthony Brown to a 3-year deal, so it gives them some flexibility there. But I think the Cowboys doing this protects them because if in the event they don't want to bring back either Awuzie or Lewis, you're not really losing that much. You got two cornerbacks that I think can do good, just as good, I should say, or even better. But I would like for them to try and get one of these guys back. I think that if you're going to see one of the either Awuzie or Lewis get pushed out the door, I think that Awuzie is more likely. But at the same time, I think it's just, and I also want to bring this up. At the end of the day, I think that the Cowboys cornerbacks under Chris Richard, who I was high on initially, really didn't develop as well as I thought they would. Now, yes, Byron Jones, Byron Jones, he did really well when he was playing cornerback. Well, here's the thing. The Cowboys were playing a cornerback at safety for his first couple seasons, and now when they played him at his natural position, all of a sudden, he's a Pro Bowl. It's like, nah, it's not how it works. But obviously, I think that, I really want to see what these guys look like under a new coaching staff. Who knows? Maybe they turn out to be even better than we thought in Awuzie and Lewis. Maybe they, become better playmakers. And here's the thing. If the Cowboys ultimately don't want to bring back either one of these guys, you better hope that they do have a really good season, because if they get a good payday, it can lead to the Cowboys getting more compensation picks, leading to better playmakers. For example, you look at what happened in this offseason. Yes, we lost Robert Quinn and we lost Byron Jones, but the key thing here is that the Cowboys have the ability to get 2 third-round compensation picks if things line up. Now, I don't think that's going to... well, it should, but who knows? No, in the NFL, they won't give us that. But we are for sure getting a third-round compensation pick in 2021, and that is going to help us in the long term, especially depending on how the Cowboys do this season. So, there's that. Now, looking at it, I think that the Cowboys will be just fine. You know, there are people that have been saying, like, oh, you know, the Cowboys didn't do enough to address the cornerback situation. They should have gone with a safety. Here's my thing, right? If the Cowboys really wanted a safety, they would have probably gotten one. I think that if Xavier McKinney or Grant Delpit had fallen to them, I think they would have taken him. You know, and I think that it just comes down to, hey, you know, there's a guy by the name of Donovan Wilson on the roster. You know, you added a guy like Clinton Dix. You have Xavier Woods. But what's key here is that I'm really interested to see what Donovan Wilson does, because if you recall in last year's preseason, he had, I believe, 4 interceptions, and he showed that he can definitely be the guy at free safety. Now, do I think he will be? I don't know. I think it's going to come to, because, look, nothing's guaranteed in the secondary, because I do believe the Cowboys will do whoever does the best job, and I believe that's how they have to look at this, and this goes for any position. You know, no position should be solidified until they work for it. Now, obviously, you know, you have your main guys, but I think that the Cowboys, like I said, will be just fine. They double dip at a position that they needed to address, and some people will be like, oh, well, the Cowboys should have addressed it sooner. No, because the Cowboys stuck to their board. You took the best player on the board at that point in time, who was Trevon Diggs, and you didn't have to move up or down to get him or lose out on him. You know, and I think I don't want to go on for too long, because honestly, that's pretty much it. It's just the Cowboys, I think, have done a fantastic job of addressing the cornerback position in this period of the offseason. And guess what? If the Cowboys want to, they can spend a high premium pick next year to get a playmaker at cornerback and or safety. Because at this point, if the Cowboys can work to, you know, make sure everything's solidified on offense, you know, think about it. The Cowboys, a good majority of the Cowboys draft was defense. There was, I believe, only 3 positions that were filled that were offensive players. And that was CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Badass, I'm going to call him that, and the quarterback out of SMU, I think it's DiNucci, I think it was. I could be wrong. But the Cowboys did a fantastic job at, you know, look, and they added a bunch of key pieces who many people think they're steals. You know, you double dip at the defensive line position, and I'll do a video on that at some point. And I think that the Cowboys have, you know, I can't stress enough, the Cowboys stuck to their board and did a fantastic job. I personally think the virtual draft really helped them. Because, look, I don't believe the Cowboys do what they do in that draft under Jason Garrett. You know, I think ultimately if the Cowboys had, you know, players, or excuse me, if they had Jason Garrett or Rod Marinelli or some of the, you know, one of those guys still in there, I don't think the Cowboys do what they do in this draft. I think they reach probably, they take, you know, they go with the safe pick, and that's what I like. The Cowboys are taking players that have good value, and that's ultimately how you're supposed to do the draft. You know, what people don't understand also is that when it comes to draft grades, specifically with how teams do, it's not about the players you pick. Obviously, you know, you don't know because they haven't been on a football field in your team's uniform yet. However, the reason why the Cowboys, I think, get an A for this entire draft is because they stuck to their board. They took players and even got aggressive to get the players they wanted, in an example of trading up to get Tyler Badass. And, you know, that's how it goes. So, I think I've gone on for long enough. You know, I think the Cowboys did pretty well with this whole pickup with Trevon Diggs and Reggie Robinson II, double dipping at cornerback. And we're going to see what happens going forward. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the acquisition of double dipping at cornerback, and more, you know, about getting Trevon Diggs and Reggie Robinson. Do you guys think the Cowboys did the right move? Do you think it's going to help them in the long term? How do you honestly feel about this entire, you know, draft addressing the defensive side of the ball with the the defensive back position. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, once again, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I post new content. And I will be seeing you guys later. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
I used to live in Sin Cities like Bruce Willis, but I'm Jackie Chan, karate chopping, I'm still kicking. I used to be chopped and screwed, I'm little flipping. Now I'm nice, Mike Jordan, so who's pimping? I'm running man, you the running man, you still slipping. I hit records, you swinging, it's still